Since the early 19th century, hundreds of thousands of immigrants from Poland set sail chasing dreams of a better life, free from poverty and war, sometimes simply out of curiosity about the world. For the next 200 years, the wave of migration never ceased. Emigration is a part of our DNA. You'll find Poles on every continent. Some of them found success, others faced struggle. But wherever we went, we brought more than just suitcases. We got heart, resilience, hard work, and a deep drive to contribute to society. From small towns to big cities, Polish immigrants have left their mark. Join us as we explore the stories of Polish immigrants who changed their lives and the lives of the places they came to.
My name is Leszek. Felix, it's the second name, Demkowicz. My wife Stasia and I are from Galicia, lesser Poland. And I'm a professor of mathematics and mechanics at the University of Texas in Austin. You need very little tools to be creative. You can do mathematics in your head, and a piece of paper and a pencil, and you can already start doing this. You can work from here, you can work from home, you can work when you travel, when you fly, when you take a ride in the bus. If you're engaged with some subject, then you forget about what is outside, and you're right into your math problem that you're trying to solve. I am also an applied, or more precisely computational mathematician. So I like my work to be applied, applicable at least. And most of the time my work is motivated with projects coming from all kinds of federal agencies or industries to help solve real life problems. Started all with my mom, who noticed there was a head of math of most of my class. And she started to feed me with popular math books already back in primary school. By the time I hit high school, I participated in Math Olympiad. And I was lucky to score place number 16 in my junior year. And if you got this diploma of Math Olympiad, this would open up to you without entry exam doors to any university in Poland, any. I could even study Polish language with that. We could enter Jagiellonia University. So I wanted to study mathematics. But my father, a second generation engineer, civil engineer, said, no, son, this would not help you make the living. You will not be able to support your family. So the heated discussion lasted for about 2 minutes. And after that, I agreed to go into Politechnika Krakowska, Krakow University of Technology, his alma mater, to start studying civil engineering. I came here for the first time in 1980 without a family, as a non-degree student for 1 year to work with my lifelong mentor and supervisor, Professor J. Tinsley Auden. And I stayed here for 1 year, and I did apparently well enough that he invited me immediately to bring in the whole family and come for postdoctoral fellowship. When I arrived here, I was exactly 27. Stasia was pregnant with our third son when I came here. It was the toughest year of my life, our life, because I was separated from family, and there was no iPhone, there was no email, there was only snail mail. I would write a letter, and Stasia would get it if it came, the right time 2 weeks later. Then she would answer, and I would get the answer 2 weeks later here. So it was very emotionally difficult. Officially, I was a postdoctoral student, but the funding came from teaching. I was simply teaching in the department as a lecturer. So the job was very much similar to what I was doing in Krakow, except I was doing that in English, which wasn't so easy by then, right? My position was renewed every semester on a semester basis. We had not intended to move permanently to Texas. We were going back to Poland. In fact, I was promised a chair in Politechnika, and Professor Józef Nizioł, then the rector of university, kept his promise. I started the chair in applied mathematics in Poland in 1990 and was the head of it for the next 2.5 years, until in 93 we moved permanently to Texas. This was definitely the hardest decision in our life. There's no doubt about that. I was turning 40. We had 5 kids by then. Our second daughter was born in 1990.
Well, it was a very difficult decision because we never intended to move to Texas. Out of Poland, we never intended to. And all of our family is still there. We are the only ones who undertook such an experiment. And our oldest son was already in high school. And we did not understand it at the point how difficult of a decision that would be for him. Because he already made his friends, he was very happy in his high school in Krakow. And we just ripped him out of there and transplanted him here. And that was one of the greatest regrets we had, that we subjected him to it.
I always list 3 reasons why we moved here permanently. 1 is positive and 2 are negative. Okay? Let me start with the positive, because I want to emphasize that positive part. In 93, actually the story starts in 1990 with Texas philanthropist Peter O'Donnell. Peter O'Donnell was in Washington lobbying for the super collider to be built in Texas. And someone told him that there is a world-class specialist in computations, that you don't have to do experiments, you can actually simulate things, and that was Dr. Oden. So this was literally a month before we were leaving back for Poland for me to resume the professorship there. And Dr. Oden walked into my office and, Leszek, there's this millionaire coming here. I have no idea what he wants. Just clean up a little bit and prepare me a short presentation. We clean up the lab. We borrow nice furniture from the befriended lab mechanical engineering, put a student in front of every terminal with his or her project, and this is the first time I saw in my life a millionaire, actually more of a billionaire. So Peter O'Donnell comes in with 2 huge bodyguards behind him and a secretary who was literally taking notes on everything he had said. So 32 times the proposal went back and forth, right, between Peter O'Donnell and Dr. Oden. Dr. Oden modified patiently and so on. But after 3 years, everything started to go very quickly. And in the fall of 93, we started a new program. And that was the positive reason why we came here, because there was a chance to do something unique. And you can see now, 3 years later, how unique indeed the Institute and the program are on the American stage in science and engineering. So that was the positive reason why we came here.
I knew that for my husband it was a great opportunity, and he is a scientist and mathematician through and through. And just doing any menial jobs that he would have to pick up another job wouldn't just do him justice. So I willingly agreed to us moving here, even though it was very difficult for the family.
The other two were negative. The first one probably was the fact that I couldn't support my family. A family of 7 with 5 children, and even with the best, salary that the university could offer to me, this was not enough to feed the family. So I had a choice: pick up a second job, as many of my colleagues did by then, having positions at 2 Polish universities, right? Or start doing more applied science engineering. I climbed the international ladder. I was already well established. I didn't want to lose it. And the third reason was that, in 1990, when we went back, very enthusiastic about applying what we have learned here to Polish conditions, I have to say that despite a lot of progress that we had made there and support of the administration by then at Politechnika Krakowska, things were moving very slowly. And I realized at that time that my life would not be long enough to see the kind of changes. Those changes did take place in Poland, and they're still taking place in Poland, right? But it's 35 years later when I am already retired. My family, my 25 students, PhD students that I have graduated, my large group of international collaborators and friends with whom I have worked, 30 plus names, 250 papers, 7 books. Basically, as Professor Babushka used to say, it's a passion. And having that passion, the very fact that I was able to support and help my wife raise the family, so I think those are a few things I can be proud of. We are Catholics, and we are very religious, both of us. We met during college time by the St. Anna Basilica. This is where we met. I have a high school degree in piano, and I was leading a small choir and a band to serve at one of the masses. And Stasia was the member of the choir, and that's how we met. So I always say that I have the main benefit of having the high school degree in piano has been that I got my wife.
We still are grappling with the idea, what will we do? Because now we are sort of torn apart, and we like to call ourselves mid-Atlantic citizens, because 4 of our kids live in States, and one of our children, of our sons, lives back in Poland, as well as the rest of our family. And we try to accommodate everybody and visit and stay here and there. So our initial plan was definitely to move back to Poland. We still keep our house there. But now I don't know how we'll split up our time. But yes, definitely want to go back.